Just a second, guys, sorry. Okay, so going to be talking about summary of qualifications, and I don't have the option of showing you Word documents, sharing from my computer, so I'm going to be holding up documents. Everything will be reversed, but mainly we're looking at position on the paper. Okay, so here's a sample resume, and you'll notice we have the professional header centered at the top, followed by the summary of qualifications right below it. I like to have it centered because it stands out on the page, whereas if it's flush on the left here, it just blends in with the rest of it, and I like it to stand out. Okay, so the big question is often, what do I put in the summary of qualifications? So some of those things that we're looking at, this is where you really can target what is in the job description of what they're looking for. So if they're looking for someone who knows the second language, and you know a second language, that definitely needs to be up there. Actually, if you know 2 languages or more, I would like to see that included in that summary, regardless of whether or not it is asked for in the job description, because that's always a bonus. So other things, it could be interpersonal or communication skills or teamwork, anything of that nature. Make sure that you bring those statements up in the top section of the summary of qualifications. Also, many times there will be things that show up under skills that's when you print out your resume from CIS, they go to the very bottom. Keep in mind that when someone is reviewing your resume, they're going to look at the top third of the page first. So that's what's going to draw their attention. So those things you want to bring up to the top. Now I want to, let me try sharing my screen here to show you some examples that we have in a document. You guys have access to this in your Canvas. And it is, even though it's labeled as the transferable athletic skills, you will find that many of them relate to individuals who are not necessarily student athletes. And a lot of that has to do with the leadership aspect that you have experienced at New Mexico Military Institute. Okay, and everything about my computer is running slow, so those will pop up here in just a second. So some of the things that you will see, can you guys see my screen okay? I can't hear anything. I'm going to assume you can. So on the examples of transferable athletic skills, first thing we see is leadership. Okay, and the statement that they give for that is recognized by teammates and coaches as a proven leader. So that could also be reworded related to the core. Okay, recognized in the core as a proven leader, or in the core of cadets probably would be a better explanation. Okay, but it could be recognized by teammates, and you can just take that sentence or that phrase, recognized by teammates and coaches as a proven leader, and put that in your summary of qualifications. Okay, other things, goal-oriented, set and achieve academic and athletic goals. It could be academic and career-related goals, anything of that nature. So these are just to give you an example of many things that you could include here. You see multitasking, balance multiple demands at once. Here's another one for adversity, stay positive, overcome injury, individual team defeats. So for that, in our current situation, you could say that staying positive in the face of new educational challenges, something of that nature. For interpersonal relationships, you see it says effective communicator with teams, coaches, areas, schools, and youth. So you could expand that into personal relations, effective communicator with teams, coaches, instructors, things of that nature. So basically what we're looking for, a lot of what we're looking for here in the summary of qualifications is things that are more broad spectrum. They're those transferable skills. And some of the key things that you'll see with relationship to your life at NMMI, you've got the perform under pressure. Okay, if you perform well under pressure, well, there's a lot of pressure at the Institute, right? So if you can, basically it goes back to that old saying, if you can keep your head while all around you are losing theirs, that type of thing, okay? So perform well under pressure, perform well under stress, things of that nature. Time management, you could say that you have strong time management skills, tough to be successful at NMMI without them. Okay, so those are just some examples that you have. Now, if we are looking at, let me go back to the home page here and show you some specifics related to a job. If it's going to come up. Okay, so let's look at, well, I think, let's see. I need to stop sharing for a minute because my computer is acting weird. So let me see if I can get to the right page here. So, okay, I'll pull this up. So let me show you some examples related to specific position descriptions and how we could look at that, okay? One second, sorry for the delay. Computers are fun when they work wonderfully, huh? Okay, I just got a message through the chat that the audio is not working. Is anyone, let's see. Oops. Okay, so I wanted to show you how we can look at a job description and use that as a way of determining what it is we're going to include. Okay, so. And that is not going to open. Okay, let me go back over here and find a different way of doing this. Okay. Okay, so we have this position description for an assistant store manager. Okay, so for one, so we'll scan through here and we'll look for different things. As you're looking through here, I want you to consider what types of things have I done that is being asked for here. So for instance, helps customers by providing information, answering questions. Okay, so right there, I'm going to highlight that because I'm going to say, you know what, that's something that even if I haven't worked as a manager position, I'm good at providing information, answering questions, things of that nature. Okay, this here maintains a safe and clean store environment. Okay. So again, when you look at this, think about what that's looking at. That's really talking about organization, right? So as we're looking at these, it may not be that we can look and say, oh, I've done that exact thing, but you look deeper and you say, okay, what are they really looking for here? They're looking for people with organizational skills, and that's shown here with the store environment, also with maintaining inventory by checking merchandise. That, of course, is organization. That's attention to detail. So as you're reading through, think of these different things. So what I would do in looking through these, some of the summary of somewhat would be included in my summary of qualifications if I were going to do this. Okay, then I could, well, leave that centered. Okay, so I could say strong interpersonal and customer service skills. I don't like the spacing there. If you hit, remember, if you hit shift and return, it brings it closer together. A close attention. No, let's not do it that way. Let's say detail oriented and well organized. So in here, you notice how, remember when we're writing a resume, we don't include compounds, but here we can. Okay, in our summary of qualifications, we can include those. Okay. Other things when you're thinking about being a manager, of course, you're going to need strong communication skills. You could say, sorry, I'm all over the place here. Communicate well in person and in writing. Okay, and you can also think of it as a manager, working as a manager, things might get a little stressful. Okay, so work well under stressful conditions. Now, when I'm writing these things down, I'm not just going to make up a bunch of junk, because I'm going to get into the interview and they're going to say, okay, you say in your resume that you work well under stressful conditions. Give us an example of when you were in a stressful condition and you worked well. And that's where I need to have that real life example in place. So what I'm really looking for in the summary of qualifications is you're going to have probably 4 to 6 statements similar to what I've just typed here that allow you to really shine a spotlight on those areas that fulfill requirements for the position that you're looking for. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to stop talking and see if you guys have any specific questions. You can either write them, let me stop sharing here. You can either write them in the comments, or you can just unmute yourself and chat with me and ask any questions you may have. Anything, guys?
I have a question about the final exam.
Okay.
Like when we're gonna log in, like how we supposed to like do it? Just log in from the computer and then dress up, and then someone's gonna be on the camera on the other side, or it's gonna be you?
We're going to schedule, I'll schedule someone else will be interviewing you.
Okay.
And so I'm going to be sending out an email later today for people to schedule a time. And that way I can recruit the people who can work those specific times. And I'll just ask you to give me, 2 or 3 times that will work well for you. And I'll give you a range of dates for that. And then,
Okay.
yes, you'll dress up, you'll look spiffy, and whoever's interviewing you will have the code as well. I'll probably log in with you guys at the beginning if I'm able to, just to see if you have any last minute questions before you start. Or else I may just open a separate room just for where people can drop in and ask any last minute questions.
Okay.
Like, how are you gonna be
Okay,
graded?
any other questions?
Yeah, like, how are you gonna be graded on the interview?
I'm having a hard time hearing you, sir. Could you speak up a little bit?
How are you gonna be graded on the interview?
Okay, let me find that in Canvas, and then I will be able to share that with you.
Stop.
Sorry, I have a new phone and it's talking to me. Okay, let me go in and share this screen. There it is. Okay, so when you go into Canvas and the final exam, if you click on final exam, it's going to give you the details, and as you scroll down, tells you right here, professional interview is worth 10 points. Remember, that's a separate assignment you're going to have to do. Interview is 30 points, and as you, interesting, I thought it was in there, my apologies. So then what we need to do is look back at the mock interview. So your final exam interview will be scored exactly as your mock interview. Okay. And I'm having a difficult time finding it, which is why you guys are having a difficult time finding it. Tell you what I'll do. Thank you for alerting me to that. What I'm going to do is make sure that I find that and put it in a place that is really obvious. And I will also send out notification to everybody of what that is. Because that is very important for you guys to know. So a lot of the things you're going to be looking at, okay, so some of the things you're going to be looking at is, did you introduce yourself well? Even though you're going to record your professional introduction ahead of time, you're still going to use that as part of your introduction to your interview. Of course, there won't be a handshake involved, but then it's also, do you look professional? Make sure people can see you well, because if they can't see you, it's really hard to have a good interview with that. And the other things to consider is, did you speak clearly? Did you speak at a good pace? Did you speak too quickly or too slowly? Things of that nature. Also, how did you do in answering the questions? Did you give good examples? Were you thorough in your responses? Things of that nature. But I will definitely post those specifics in the rubric so that you guys can see that, okay?
Okay.
Anything
Then
else?
I have another. Then on the professional introduction, like, what do we like our main thing is on that?
Okay, so your professional introduction, remember we had an assignment on that? So I want you to be thinking about the job that you are applying for. Hang on just a second, let me look through here. Okay, so because you're going to want to relate to that. Okay, so yours is a pharmacy aide position, is that correct?
Pharmacy tech, yes.
Okay. Um, well, make sure that you look at the position as listed in Canvas on that first page. Okay.
Okay, it's the pharmacy aid.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So just look in there and you're going to want to, just like in your interview and in your letter and in your resume, how you're going to want to give that demonstration that you can meet those qualifications. You're also going to want to keep those in mind when you're looking at your professional introduction. So your introduction, of course, you're going to, hi, my name is so-and-so. And then you could give a quick, just a very quick blurb of, I am a student at New Mexico Military Institute. I'll be graduating this May, if that's accurate. I don't know who's graduating when. And then you could say that, you know, my plans are to go into pharmacy as a career. And at this point, I'm very interested in working as a pharmacy aide so that I can get the experience. And I feel that I have something like, I feel that my qualities of, and then explain some of those qualities, and my experience of some of the experience make me well suited for this position. Okay, so it's the basic spotlight of who you are, what you have to bring to the table.
So so it like basically for the professional letter, professional that video, like a 2 to 3 minute video, basically.
The professional introduction won't be that long, no. It's short. So look back to the professional introduction or I think it's probably listed under elevator pitch. It's the same thing, okay? Your professional introduction is your elevator pitch, and it's short, okay?
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to worry about talking on and on and on. It's just a quick introduction.
And
Okay, any other questions?
do we have to dress nice when we do that?
Yep, you got to dress decent. As I understand that some people are not in a situation where they have good clothes with them. I was helping another teacher yesterday with her students who were doing a presentation, and literally the only clothes that this young man had was white t-shirts and a hoodie. So if you refer back to the how to dress for an interview and go by those guidelines, at the very least, if you have like a button-down shirt with a collar or a polo shirt, something like that would be good.
Okay.
And refer back to the other things that they ask about or that they recommend, as far as, you know, making sure your hair looks good, make sure that you're clean shaven. Now you have your video off. I mean, it could be that in the time since we've been at school, you've grown a really nice beard and you can have it well trimmed. What I always tell gentlemen is, when you're doing any kind of a video interview, if you've just started to grow out a beard to where people look at you and go, is he growing a beard or did he just forget to shave? Okay, so it looks like you've got, I have a hard time seeing it. Looks like
Yeah,
you got the mustache thing going on.
I just need to shave.
Okay, so if it's just a need to shave, then yeah, just go ahead and make sure that you shave beforehand. Now, do you have a laptop? It looks like you're on your phone right now.
Yes, I'm on my phone right now.
Do you have a laptop that has Zoom?
Yes.
Because you might want to get comfortable with that, because that's going to be easier rather than you having to concentrate on holding the phone just right. Okay, so think about when you're in a professional interview and you know how we get a little nervous and our hands may shake a little bit. Okay, if it's set up on a laptop, it's set up and you can forget about it.
I just use my phone because I'm doing a final right now.
Oh, okay, so you're multitasking?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm actually ready to sign off here. If you have any other questions, please send me an email. And if you want to meet just one-on-one on a video to discuss any of your materials, anything like that, we can do that. Okay.
I would like to do a one-on-one video.
Okay.
I'm
What's your
I
schedule
can
like? When do you
I
have it
can
open?
do, and I'm open all day, every
Okay. I'll
day.
send you a meeting notice for this afternoon. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You betcha. Any other questions from anyone?